officers, do not lose a deal. Just run everything through Angel Oak's quick quote if you're having any trouble at all getting something approved through DU or through LP or whatever the case may be. Run it through them. Click the banner you see right here over on your right, or it's just down below. Maybe past the comments if you're on a mobile device. There's a link around here somewhere. Or you can simply text quote to 33655 and get started with Angel Oak's quick quote.
So I want to clear something up. The change to appraisals that we went over yesterday that everyone's talking about on social media, it applies to banks that are FDIC insured.
Okay,
and
the
it's
big guys.
Not loans that are sold to Fannie, Freddie, or the Ginnie type of loans. But according to the OCC, it can affect upwards of 40% of all properties in this country. So it's a massive story.
Oh, okay.
But I just want to get that point. I want to make that point clear. And the thing is we know how this goes. Here's how the industry goes. We just keep nudging, and that's a direction we're going, and that's concerning. So, anyways, a fella named Constantine Cannon, if ever there was an actor's name, he sent a letter to the Treasury, the FDIC, and the Federal Reserve on behalf of 30 appraisal organizations. Now, this one act alone makes appraisers more effective than anything NAR has done with a lawsuit they're facing.
Okay.
But also, Frank, seriously,
Yeah.
who would have thought there were 30 appraisal organizations?
Yeah, that's a trip. I wonder how many people are in each organization. That's what I'm curious about. Anyway, the appraiser organizations argue, one, that by not requiring appraisals done by actual appraisers, rather allowing for automated valuations, that this move by the FDIC and other agencies ignore the statutorily protected interest of home buyers by assessing the merits of the increase primarily in terms of the NPRM's potential impact on financial institution safety and soundness, essentially as an exercise in portfolio risk management for individual institutions and for the mortgage sector.
Okay.
Got it?
It's kind of like that Rocket Mortgage commercial. So what that means is
Yeah, right.
they're creating riskier loans by getting rid of appraisers. That's what they're saying.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
It does. And by the way, they're right. Now, I want to tell you something here. Let's think about this. Creating riskier products. My friend bought a house where the whole house inspector missed a cracked foundation. I mean, just missed it. The damn appraiser caught it.
There you go.
Now, do you know what the cost to cure for a cracked foundation was on a hillside house in Walnut Creek, California, Frank?
Yikes, what?
$250,000. Yep, that was my friend Dave Morrell. And that was 10 years ago. Now, here's a question. How many automated valuation systems are going to catch that?
You got a point there.
How many hours does an appraiser work on an appraisal? Just poring over little details that can have a massive input on the value.
Totally true.
I just told you when it happened to one of my best friends. $250,000. When we get values wrong and things are missed, the collateral against the mortgage-backed security, the mortgage, it's compromised. If you buy a used car, you don't want to buy a lemon now, do you?
Right.
And there's no Kelly blue booking a property online if you don't get to lift the hood and check the seats inside.
True.
Yet that's what we're doing on steroids with these AVMs. Getting rid of appraisers, guys, is wrong. They're right here, Frank.
You know what makes this point really interesting?
What's that?
Is after the savings and loan debacle, where we mandated appraisers, it was from homes not worth the loan.
That's why we had appraisers come in.
Right, so we made appraisals mandatory.
Right.
What was good biz then, it's good biz now.
Right.
So the second point they make is a claim that this move in part ignores the new provisions with Dodd-Frank, the Consumer Protection Act, and TILA. The TILA part is interesting. Lenders, think about this.
Homes not worth the loans. Protecting our consumers, right? TILA is designed to protect consumers' money, what they spend, what they're obligated to pay. The mortgage industry spent years and millions, if not billions of dollars to be TILA compliant. And if your TILA was off just a little bit, you either had to redisclose or you're refunding that $8.72 on that title quote. With automated values replacing appraisers, haven't we just really thrown all that fine-tuning of TILA just right out the window? I mean, you know how automated valuations work, don't you? The values are going to work on a percentage. Some are going to be right, but there's going to be a percentage that's wrong. Now, what if 1% of non-appraised properties are off by 1%, and it will be higher than that? The same buyers that we're also concerned about with our approach to TILA will be vastly more harmed than anything that was pre-Tilla, losing more money. If Tilla reform was one step forward, guys, what they're doing with these appraisers and appraisals, this move is 1 mile backwards, not just one step. Think about it. I mean, it really does make no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And speaking of harming consumers, Article 4 is an interesting point. Who always gets harmed the worst and harmed the first?
Well, let's see. That's always low-income folks, Frank.
That's right, it is. Article 4 states the proposed increase would have a disproportionate impact on lower income and first-time home purchasers and fails to take into account regional differences in home prices. By making this move, we now ensure all Fannie and Freddie loans that fall under low to moderate income borrowers, not some, but all homes in all markets, are now allowing for less accurate AVM.
I know you're saying, guys, they're not going to allow for AVMs on 95% LTV deals with Fannie and Freddie. And I would tell you, yeah, you're right. Not yet. But would you have ever imagined a day when we wouldn't require appraisals? Yet here we are. That's the direction we're going. You remember that one time me and Frank did an April Fool's Day show?
Yeah.
And we offered a product that was stated income, stated asset, and stated value?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, we thought it was funny as hell because we thought it was so crazy. Yet here we are, actually doing it.
Now, here's the problem. When you go on to a la mode, it gives you the property address. And on that, it has a Zillow link that takes you to the Zillow property site with the Zestimate. Now, do any of you feel comfortable with Zestimates protecting the sanctity of your transaction and your client's home values, like in any way, shape, or form?
Now, this is what underwriters are going to be looking at and potentially replacing appraisers with the a la mode software. Guys, we have to protect our appraisers. Hell, Frank, we all, realtors, lenders, title, and appraisers, we all have to have each other's back. Think about that and do me a favor. Sign our petition to have these companies investigated because something doesn't smell right here.
Or you can just go to honestypetition.com. It's easy to find it there, or there's a link around here or an image around here somewhere we can click to support that. But I got to tell you, that's a great point about Dave.
What's that?
$250,000 flub up.
Yep.
Because, so, and then you
Yep.
think about that. So what if, and like you said, a lot of people are going to say, well, they're not going to do this on 95 LTVs. Okay, so
Sure.
just do it on 50 LTVs.
Right.
Can you still afford to have a 50 LTV mistake like that made? A
No.
$250,000 blunder on a crack foundation
No.
that an appraiser easily caught?
No, and here's the truth on that is it was missed in the title report too. What they did is he was on a hillside and there was an easement for a drain for water going from houses above to go underneath his house
Yeah.
and go down to a drainage to a house below him.
Yeah.
The pipe cracked underneath his house and water saturated the
Eroded.
side of the house and it cracked it. Now what happened was they had tiles, but they had carpeted above the tiles.
So you couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it. And so what happened was the appraiser felt a little bit, ripped a little bit of the carpet back and saw a crack on there and said, we need to check out this foundation. And it turned out that in order to fix this thing with all these houses on the hillside,
Oh my gosh.
they're going to have to pump jack the whole house up, get soil engineers to go in there, impact it. It was $250,000. True story.
Give us your comments, your thoughts down below. Forward, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you later here at the National Real Estate Post.
Later, skaters.